Hello, everybody. My name is Dobrev, and I work for the Bulgarian Society for the Protection of Birds. In this presentation, I'm going to show you and brief you within our work for poisons use in Bulgaria. I'll give you a very brief introductory to what we have done and, of course, what we have progressed so far. So the story of poisoning is really long, and we have evidenced a lot of cases of it. And we can easily conclude that this is the single most important threat to vulture species at a global scale. This is inevitably proven by this document that was approved like a few years ago. And at the Balkans scale, we have concluded a study that was published in 2018, in which we have estimated that more than 2,000 vultures may have died of poisons used across the Balkans. This comes from mainly evidence-based data and data that we have collected through historical records within all the Balkan country states. And why actually it's important to collect this data? Simply because without evidence-based data, we cannot be really sure, but once you start searching poisons, they really appear. These are two reports that we have published. This one is from Bulgaria, and it actually summarizes our data on the grief of vulture mortality in the country for a certain period of time. And the second one concerns the Egyptian vulture across Bulgaria and Greece. And as you might see from both figures, it is obvious that this poisoning concludes the majority of the cases of mortality in both species, actually. The situation with the imperial eagle is more or less the same. Besides that, electrocution is the initial cause of death within this species. However, up to 20% of imperial eagle mortalities are because of use of poisons. This is another research that we summarized a long-term period of time, as you might see here, between 1992 and 2019. And altogether, 13 individuals are considered poisoned. Anyway, I told you that I'm going to introduce with our work across the years, and actually the first efforts in Bulgaria were started in the early 90s when the first anti-poisoning plan and strategy were initiated in the Eastern Rhodops. This is the stronghold for vulture species in Bulgaria. And following the next decade, actually we intensified the work, and we started few small projects under this Balkan Vulture Action Plan, and actually few organizations were very active and participated in implementation of different activities across the country, but mainly donating shepherd dogs, organizing tens of seminars, workshops with local stakeholders, but also institutions. We even tried a compensatory scheme for local livestock breeders, and there was even a anti-poisoning hotline that was opened at one during the beginning of this period. Unfortunately, it didn't work well, finally. And actually, we can say that our greatest progress and success comes following 2016, when two very large and extensive live European Commission funded projects started in the country, and they were mainly focusing on the conservation of griffon and cinereus vulture in Bulgaria. And since that time, actually, we started with our first anti-poisoning dog unit that was founded in Bulgaria in 2016. This was the first for the country ever, and we actually adopted the very good examples from Spain and Hungary, and our colleagues from MME helped a lot for establishing this dog unit that is still operating, fortunately. And in a really brief summary, this team worked in 3 main regions in Bulgaria. This is the first one. It is in the southwest of the country, and down in the southeast corner, these are, let's say, the vulture strongholds in the country. And the third region, just a moment. The third region, it's also in the southeast, but these are the territories in the stronghold for the imperial eagle. So we concentrated mainly along these sites between 2016 and 2020. And altogether, the dock unit accomplished over 45 patrols, and finally we could find 40 poisoned animals. And we are sure that the more you search, the more you would find. And this is why we actually try to promote this work and also to encourage other people or institutions mainly to start working with it. And unfortunately, what happens around us is not much better. This is the situation in Greece for a bit longer period, actually. And you could easily see that all these scouts here actually point out a poisoning incident. This reveals that this threat is really severe and actually encompasses all the breeding site of vulture species. And this is why we know that further actions are really needed, and they need to be implied immediately. And this is why actually we, after establishment of the dock unit, started this promotion among Bulgarian national institutions and also regional authorities. And we organized a series of workshops and meetings, which aim was actually to start the national action plan to combat the poisonous use in the wild. And in 2017, we also organized an international workshop on this issue, following some major poisoning events in the country. And after almost 3 years of struggling, we could have our national action plan to combat poisons in 2021. This was a really tough battle because the problem, I think, besides Bulgaria, but also across the Balkans, is the lack of commitment within the national authorities, and of course, lack of their support in the common actions to fight poisons. So this was a very important stage of our work. And if you remember the first slides, you would see that for 20 years, we hadn't progressed that much in comparison to the last 6-7 years since we started intensely working on these issues only. So following the endorsement of the national plan, we immediately after started its promotion and of course formation and establishment of regional working groups across the country. We aim to actually recognize and to get regional authorities more acquainted with what was already approved and endorsed, and of course to formally establish working groups within this important vulture in imperial eagle regions. Besides that, we could actually set an online database that collects all the information regarding poisoning across the Balkans, but also looking this map, you can easily see that you can easily report an incident across the country. We tried much to make this online database reachable to as many people as possible, of course. Following this, we could also issue this printed book. It was specially designed and produced to serve to national authorities like the police and forestry agents. And this is really a short introductory and guidelines how crime scene investigation should be carried out and which are the things that agents and foresters and rangers should be very careful of. Just a second. We additionally, to promote and to ease their work, we could also set these kits for collecting samples in the wild. This toolbox includes really important tools, but also things that you would need whenever you go outside to look out for poison or to investigate such cases. These were very, very nicely prepared and also very much appreciated by the national authorities in Bulgaria. And we have donated more than 50 up to now. Besides that, we could, for the last 7 years, create a network of local stakeholders. It included mainly local livestock breeders, veterinarians, village mayors, and also other local people that would help us. The idea behind this is actually to create a network of people who are collaborative, who could provide information, but also signal immediately after any poisoning events occurs. And we have several cases so far that we were reported of poisoned vultures and other animals by these people. Something that we are really proud of is the Wildlife Crime Academy that we started in Bulgaria as well. This is a very nice initiative started by Vulture Conservation Foundation in Spain, and it has been very successful up to now. And last year we could officially start this initiative in Bulgaria, and we could train 15 people in investigating poisoning cases. All these people are actually representatives of the national police and forestry agents. And we are very proud of another one thing that happened last year. These are the first 2 dogs that were donated to the national police in Bulgaria. They were imported from Spain, and we have paid and provided their education, and also we bought these 2 dogs for the national police in Bulgaria. And now officially the Bulgarian police has anti-poisoning dog units already. And finally, in this current year, we could actually set a national working group on poison. This working group is like a task force, and it works at the Ministry of Environment and Waters in Bulgaria. We also have a new department that was established because of this in the national police, and they started operating in February this year. And just now in October, we are going to proceed with the 2nd edition of the Bulgarian Wildlife Crime Academy. So we're really progressing fast the last years, luckily. And last but not least, it's important to provide people with information, also to have your research as close as possible to as many readers possible. And this is a kind invitation to you. We are editing a special issue of Diversity, so whoever has information and wish to publish any of its data, you're welcome to do so, because we have already launched a 2nd edition this year. And thank you very much.
Да, Добромир, скажите, пожалуйста, вот факт отравления – это в основном диклофенак и его, так сказать, аналоги, или есть другие источники отравлений, как препараты для дератизации против мышей и так далее?
Yeah, thank you. In Bulgaria, the main source of poisoning is actually unintentional, and these are mainly pesticides that livestock breeders use to extirpate predators, large predators, like wolves, jackals, bears, but also foxes. And actually, to be honest, the last years, the majority of cases we have are mainly related to golden jackal poisoning. So this is the main source of poisoning, and this is the main root behind this. And in terms of diclofenac, we don't have cases recently.
You mentioned that you fight this poisoning, yes, but my question is, do you also find some solutions to these problems with wolves and jackals? You pay any contribution, you try to educate people about that, are they really dangerous and really such a threat to stakeholders in Bulgaria?
Yeah, this is always a sensitive questions in terms of poisoning, especially when we are speaking about compensations or any other measures related to payments. For example, in Bulgaria, the wolf is not protected species, and actually it's a huntable, which we consider is the best option for our country, because otherwise there would be much more poisoning. And I can give you simple example with the neighboring Greece, where the wolf is a protected species, including also the whole of Europe. And in Greece, this is much larger problem, and this is a much severe threat actually. So we believe that there might be many solutions, but it's a matter of communication, and of course being very sensitive with how you communicate this with the local people. And of course, prevention is the best tool.
У кого-то есть еще вопросы?
Уважаемые коллеги, наверное, в рамках обсуждения. Я Мельников Владимир, представляю Союз охраны птиц России. И сюда приехал непосредственно из Кисловодска с конференции «Птицы и сельское хозяйство». И вот на этой конференции тоже были озвучены проблемы, которые у нас длятся уже чуть более года на юге России, на юге Европейской России, в основном это Ставропольский край и Краснодарский край. Очень сильно поднялась численность мышевидных грызунов на сельскохозяйственных полях. В первую очередь это кустарничковая мышь, как я понимаю. Ну и другие виды. И против них стали применять ядохимикаты, во-первых, уже запрещенные в России, такие как фосфид цинка, ряд других препаратов новых, производимых в Китае, и с нарушением их применения. То есть по инструкции закладка должна проходить непосредственно в норы грызунов, а их рассыпают просто по поверхности полей. И погибло, и продолжает гибнуть большое количество птиц. Это более 3000 серых журавлей, многие тысячи кряков, там и список можно продолжать. И в том числе, естественно, хищные птицы. Из орлов это могильники, и даже да, этот степной орел, который, в принципе, на этой территории сейчас не гнездится, но мигрирующие птицы попали там тоже под раздачу. Вот эту проблему тоже хочу озвучить. Мы обращались и в прокуратуру. Знаю, что возбуждено не менее 2 уголовных дел, которые, в общем-то, затягиваются. Вот такая информация еще об одной проблеме у нас.
Ну, в дополнение по трагедии, которая произошла в Северо-Кавказском регионе, ну, к сожалению, у меня сейчас нет подготовленных фотографий, но коллеги, которые проводили исследования по орлану белохвосту, опубликовали статью по краху популяции, и на фотографиях страшная картина: взрослые орланы, размножающиеся, умирали прямо в гнездах, трупы их вместе с яйцами. То есть орланы погибали во время насиживания от отравления и оставались гнить прямо в гнездах.
Я сейчас, поскольку обсуждение уже не получится, но я скажу, мы, поскольку будем делать резолюцию к этой конференции, вот тему отравления надо обязательно поднять, потому что она достаточно многогранная. Травятся не только падальщики ветпрепаратами, масса птиц травится в результате дератизации, которая происходит в результате работы сельхозпроизводителей или противочумных служб. Поэтому вот кто занимается достаточно плотно этой проблемой, вы подготовьте, пожалуйста, в резолюцию ваши предложения, и тогда просто на общий чат конференции пришлите их.